Today we're going to be reading an article called Writing, Reading Can Help People to Feel Better and Heal. So I know a lot of us, really struggle with writing, really don't like writing, and maybe the same with reading. Maybe reading has been something that's been difficult for you in school and in life. So hopefully this article can give us some examples of how writing and reading can really be helpful, right? Can be helpful to us in our own lives. So first we have this picture, somebody writing in a little journal here, and below the picture we have this little chunk of text. This is called a caption, where we're giving information about the picture above. So the caption says, writing and reading can be a type of meditation and healing. So meditation, right? Thinking, having some quiet time with yourself, usually to process emotions. And then we have our credit for our photographer and the site where the picture came from. Here's our article. Allison Adele Hedge Koch had to deal with many difficult experiences in her life. She lived with a mother who had schizophrenia, a serious mental illness. Koch also grew up in several foster homes, fought cancer, and struggled with drug abuse. I really didn't believe I would make it through childhood, but the act of writing brought me through, she says. So clearly, Allison Koch, right? We refer to a person as their last name throughout a nonfiction article. She had this really, really difficult childhood. She struggled with all these different things in her life, and she said, writing is what brought me through. Writing is what helped me get through those difficult situations. Now 61 and an award-winning poet, Koch teaches writing as a way of healing. Her students are cancer patients, children struggling with problems, doctors, families, and just about everyone else. Writing can be a way of thinking deeply, Koch says. It is a process that helps us understand both the good and bad things that happen to us. Reading is also healing, she says. So now, after her difficult childhood, she wants to share this tool with other people, right? So she teaches writing as a way to heal from difficult things in people's lives. It can help us think deeply, right? It can help us understand the good things and bad things that happen to us. And then she also says reading is good as well. So the next section here is called Reading, Writing Are Good for Your Health. So if you see this bold little blob of text, right, you see how it's darker than the rest? This is called a heading. And the heading gives us sort of the main idea or the topic of the section that's below it. So this section is going to be about how reading, writing are good for your health. We learn through the experiences of the characters we read about, Koch says. Because we empathize or feel what others are feeling, we expand our understanding of other people and other situations. We are also less bothered by our own misfortunes. So we have sort of some main points that we're going to talk about in this section here. Number one, we learn by reading about characters who are different from us, right? We feel what other people are feeling. We understand, people in other situations, right? We learn from people in situations that are different than our own, and maybe we feel less alone, or maybe we feel better about our own issues that we're experiencing. And I really like that they gave us the definition of this unknown word here, empathize. Empathize is to feel what others are feeling. So anytime you see weird word, comma, or blah, comma, right? Weird word, comma, or blah. The blah is probably a definition, okay? Koch points to books such as Frank McCourt's Angela's Ashes. In that book, the author writes about growing up poor in 1930s and 40s Ireland. Reading books like that makes us feel a little less alone, a little less troubled, she says. So this book, Angela's Ashes, I believe is actually narrative nonfiction. So telling about these events and these experiences in, this time period, growing up poor, maybe helps you feel less alone, right? That you're not the only person who has had troubles or struggles in your life. Humans have told stories to feel better through the ages. For example, think of fairy tales that teach moral lessons, or religious texts that wrestle with valleys of despair and mountains of hope, or poetry that cleanses the writer's soul. Recently, doctors and psychologists who study the mind have begun looking at the health effects of reading and writing. So, here's some examples, right? People have used stories to help us feel better, right? Fairy tales that teach lessons, right? Or help us to kind of escape. Religious texts, valleys of despair, right? The valley of despair is sort of a metaphor for feeling sad, right? So what to do when you're feeling sad, or how to have hope, or poetry that cleanses the writer's soul, that helps you feel better, okay? So the next section is called Using Our Imaginations. Raymond Marr is a professor at York University in Toronto. He studies the effect reading fiction and nonfiction has on our ability to understand what others are feeling. He found that children and adults who have read stories their whole lives were more likely to correctly identify the feelings and thoughts of others than those who do not read regularly. In other words, people who read stories are better at sharing and understanding other people's feelings. Why? Because when people are reading fiction, they are imagining what it is like to be in these stories. So reading fiction, right? Reading stories that aren't true help us to better understand what other people are feeling and what other people are thinking. So having that experience, putting ourselves in somebody else's shoes or imagining what somebody else is thinking and feeling actually helps us, right? And this, he's a professor, he's studied this, he has found this to be true. It's a scientific fact. Trying to understand these characters exercises the same mental muscle that helps us understand people in the real world. It teaches us to put ourselves in someone else's shoes. The better we are at that, the more likely we are to treat others well, he says. For adults, it doesn't appear to matter what you read, says Marr, so long as you are reading. With children, however, it's important to discuss what they are reading. Those conversations help them to understand the story and empathize, right? Feel what other people are feeling. Empathize with its characters. Reading stories is a chance for children and adults to talk about the complicated parts of life, Marr says. So children, right, need to talk about what they're reading to really process those feelings. Okay, next section, mental health also benefits. Some doctors have also begun to see storytelling as a way to improve mental health. A movement called narrative medicine has been growing. It comes from the idea that both writing and reading literature can help doctors and patients to communicate better. Together, they can discover meaning in the illnesses they battle. Dr. John Harper of Texas Health Presbyterian Dallas supports this movement. He started the annual Literature and Medicine Conference at the hospital 5 years ago. Each year, an author is asked to speak, teach writing classes to hospital staff, and run an essay contest about how literature influences medicine. Harper says doctors who read stories are more understanding and, therefore, more compassionate or caring, more willing to listen to their patients' stories. It also helps doctors to communicate better. So we have Dr. Harper, right, who says reading and writing both help doctors to be more caring, to understand what other people are feeling, to, understand people's stories and listen. The tiny differences in meaning in poetry and writing can communicate emotion far better than any scientific explanation. The sound of a coffin hitting the earth is a sound utterly serious, Harper says, quoting one of his favorite lines from Antonio Machado's poem, The Burial of a Friend. He uses the line to communicate the depth of his intent to patients and family members facing deadly diseases. Saying something beautiful and full of meaning like that shows how serious he considers their illnesses and his sympathy for their suffering, he says. So we have our, point that using literature, right, helps doctors communicate better. They can communicate emotion better. So here's an example of this. The sound of a coffin hitting the earth is a sound utterly serious, right? So using this line from a poem helps to show his patients, right, his depth of intent, right, how much he really cares, how hard he's planning to work to save their family member, right, facing a deadly disease. And how he understands, right, their sympathy for their suffering. He understands how hard it is and how serious it is when your family is suffering. Write it down to move on. Writing is also healing, says Harper, who teaches other doctors that writing about their experiences is a way to release their emotions. If you have an experience and you sit down and write about it, you can pour that emotion out, Harper says. Getting rid of these thoughts and emotions helps to find meaning in the death or survival of a patient, and then allows you to move on with your life, he says. That is the same message Koch teaches her writing students. Writing it down allows that quiet, thoughtful process that we need as human beings to unravel the things in our life, or enjoy the things we are having fun with fully, she says. So this paragraph sort of summing it up, right? Harper, our doctor, and Koch, the woman with the difficult childhood that now teaches writing, both say, right, if you have an experience, good or bad, and you sit down and write about it, right, you can pour that emotion out. You can help sort of process and deal with those emotions that you're feeling. And we need this quiet, thoughtful process to help us, go through and really understand what we're feeling. So that's our article.